Go on.
And welcome to a posting of fitting a screen in a E-Type Jaguar Series 2 2+2. I broke a screen in this car, trying to fit it. Didn't have the right tool, but originally when I fitted the screen I roped it in from the inside, but all the interior is now in, and that stops me from doing that. Plus it's not the correct way to fit it in. The glass goes into the rubber, as you see the rubber satin here. I fit it as I was fitting it back in because I'd had to take it out. I was using some plastic spatulas to manipulate the rubber up from underneath the glass so it went over the glass. And as I got to here, a little bit of pressure on the glass and it broke it. So I bought a tool. Just where is it? Hold on. This tool is it's a copy of the Jaguar tool, which is to fit in the rubber. And I practiced with it on the glass I broke to see how it worked. So pretty much I feel I've got it sussed out. It acts like a hook in the rubber, and you just work it up like that, and it pulls the rubber over. What I'm doing at the moment, Vaseline, paintbrush. What I'm doing is I'm greasing up, as it were, inside the recess where the glass sits. The reason for this is so that the tool can slide slightly as I'm pulling the rubber out. I don't want it to be dragging on the rubber or anything if there's no lubricant on. So I'm putting it in the recess, and I'm also going to put it on the outside of the rubber. This is to allow the glass and the rubber to slide happily as I pull it through. A lot of people say use washing up liquid. Well, I've tried that, but I find it's a bit sticky. Still is the rubber. And I tried Vaseline on the screen which I broke to see how the tool worked, and it seems quite good. So, and it cleans off quite happy as well. So, nicely spread it on the rubber on the outside of the lip. Inside. Yes, while I was fitting the rubber in as well, I'm sure most people know, with the glass, I put some non-hardening screen sealant in the rubber to frame, which is holding it on somewhat. Plus that's what helps seal it, obviously. Once the glass is in, then I'll go around it in this recess, putting in the screen sealant, and then the rubber insert into the actual window rubber will then go in. Right, turn it off. back to this screen. Now, you can, a lot of people mark the centre of the screen and put a little mark on the roof on a bit of masking tape or something like that to centre it. But you can pretty much see when you set it in on the cars to exactly where it is. So if we look here carefully, you can see it looks where it should be. But if we go around here, see it's overhanging. So what we're going to do is we're just going to equal this out, and then the glass is sat on top of the rubber. And what I'll do is I'll just carefully open that out with my fingers to set this into the rubber at the bottom, so then it's held in place. Then gravity will help hold and pull this glass down as I work it in. So it'll be just a case I'll jiggle it around, and then I'll try and show me actually hooking the rubber over the glass. Around here, dear.
Go.
Right, putting the glass in, I try to avoid putting anything in this bit to hook the rubber round, just because the way it sits in. When you're putting the glass in, the glass is trying to drop straight down. Gravity's doing the work for us here. As you're putting the glass into the rubber is being pushed down as well. And what we want to do is try and keep the rubber and the glass outside of the frame lip instead of inside the frame lip, because if it's inside the frame lip, it will all keep the glass up. So as you try to bring this top corner in and the top edge of the glass in, it'll be high. And so we just try to keep the glass out of the bottom. So sometimes pushing on the inside of the glass carefully just to move this rubber that way outside of the lip, and then we're just going to pull the rubber with his fingers and carefully pulling the glass in, and we'll just work the glass and the rubber, pulling it down like that until it's nicely sat in, and we're happy that it's equal. As long as you've lubricated it, the glass will move fairly happily in its rubber. But like I say, you have to make sure that we can get this edge as low down as possible, so that means pushing from underneath. So we'll just carefully push. Can you see the movement there? We'll just move the glass like that on the rubber, and that'll be allowing the glass to come outside of the body framework in the rubber, and it'll be helping to push it down into the car. And we'll just keep working with his fingers, pulling the rubber out and pulling the glass in. And we can see now it's sat right in the rubber there. If you pan it round there, the rubber, we can see it's right at the bottom there now, and making sure that we've got it down. And then I'm going to start hooking it round now. So I'll come round there. Now this is a delicate bit. Steel and glass don't mix at all. And when I bought this tool, I was trying to work out how it worked. I thought you put it in the rubber and you pushed it like that, and this bit fed the rubber over. It doesn't. The way I found this works is it's a hook which hooks into the rubber, and you're just carefully pulling it like that out. So into the rubber, keeping away from the glass. Use your fingers to pull it away, and we'll just carefully work with this thumb and we'll just work like that. And then I'll go to the other side to get this corner. So we'll systematically, corner to corner, up the pillows, corner, and carefully feeding it in, not pushing. What I found was, as the glass is being put into the car rubber, the rubber, once it's over the glass, is trying to pull the glass in. And all this, the more you've got in, the more weight is on the glass. What I found is when you're coming around to these corners, this last little bit here, obviously this is going to be the tightest bit. So I found carefully pushing the glass out a little bit so the rubber is like just on the edge of the glass, so it's held open like that and not so much like that. And that allows for the rubber to be manipulated better because it can pull back easily. So we'll just go to the other corner and work it. So just pulling the we'll just push and work. Like I say, don't rush it, there's no need to rush. This glass has just cost me an arm and a leg because I didn't use the right tool, I didn't study it up and I didn't think about it enough. Tool makes it easier, it really does. So just working it in. I've got a bit of a gap there, so I'm thinking maybe the glass wants to come round this way, so I'll go to that side and have a look and see how that side is sat in relation to what this side's like, and we'll work out if it needs to be moved. Right, I can move it a little bit, it doesn't need much. If I just give it a little push, and that's just moved over a little bit. Yeah, it's better. I'm just going to work this. It seems that this glass is slightly smaller than the other one. I'm not complaining because I always felt that the other glass was too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this round and try and pull this on because it's pretty much equal. So I'm nowhere near the glass. All I'm doing is hooking it through. If it gets a little bit hard, we're going to push the glass up a little bit, and I'm just working it. Like I say, always thinking of trying to keep the glass down. As you can see, the rubber is just on the edge. I'm happy with that because it means I can go to that side and work that side the same. Just pushing down, making sure we can get this down as much as possible. Just want to make sure. It may look like there's a lot of messing around, but just hooking it through. I'm not even nowhere near glass. I'm using my thumb to just try and keep the tool away from the glass, and I'm just working, hooking it out. Just hook it out, that's all you have to do. And when you're finished, pull it away. And as you can see, it's starting to go in. We're nearly there now. Am I sweating? Yes. Am I worried? Oh yes. but we'll get in there. So I'm nicely in there. I'm going to go back to that side and have a look at that side and work that side. Well, we got it in without breaking it. It was quite tight, this last bit, but the last bit is always the most difficult. What I found, like I said, when you're pulling this rubber out, as you start to work up, this is starting to grip the glass. The further you come round, the more weight is on the glass, trying to pull the glass in. And obviously you're feeding this from underneath to the front of the glass. It gets tighter, so if you can have somebody just carefully pushing the glass out, just so this rubber is on the edge of the glass, as it were. As you work this way, it helps that you're not really forcing this through the glass, which then is not putting stress on the glass itself. That's one of the ways it gets cracked, but she's in. I'm happy enough with it. I've had no issues really. My wife thought I was going to break it when I was bashing it around like that, just to try and settle it in and stuff, but as long as you're not whacking middle there, really, there's no reason to hit that really. Just giving these a bit of a tap with your palm of your hand and a bit of a pushing will settle it down, and just make sure it's settled in nice. So just keep going around it and settling it in until it looks pretty much even. And then when you, I don't know if you'll be able to see, no you can't see really, but the glass, from the edge of the glass to the rubber inside, obviously this now has to be sealed, so I've got some non-hardening, here we go, non-drying butyl screen sealant. Just go around it, filling all the rubber with that, and then obviously you'll need the other tool which goes in end of here. Somewhere, I've got them somewhere, forgive me, I'll have to take them all out, but it looks like I've left them in the drawer. No, I haven't left them in the drawer. Where have I put them? Anyway, I don't know where I put them. Oh no, here they are. What am I doing? Just staring me right in front of the face. You got this tool. Apparently that wide one is for the chrome trim that goes in the rubber. And this one, which is a bit smaller, is for putting the rubber insert in. That just fastens in there, and the rubber insert comes through one side, and as you push that, it lifts the rubber open and pushes the rubber insert in, and you just work around the screen with the same way in between there. That's it, just goes in there and it just spreads it open and it pushes the rubber in as it goes round. If you know, what I would do is be careful with the paint, so maybe put a couple of layers of masking tape on, just so you don't catch this. And when you're putting your glass in, just have something close on your scuttle pan, so you're not going to catch your glass on there when you put your glass into your rubber. But that's pretty much it. That's how I feel that the tool for fitting these glasses works. It's just a hook. But like I said, be careful when you're putting it in that you don't touch the glass. Any pressure on the glass and it will pretty much instantaneously put a crack in it. So really be aware of that. And like I say, just carefully work it and lifting just a bit of pressure on the glass just to lift it out a little bit so it's not stressing the rubber in this last bit round here, because obviously that's where I broke it last time, just there. So there you go. Hope that's for an help for all those who's trying to fit E-type glasses. One thing I did do when I built this car originally, I roped it, and I'm not sure if I mentioned that already when I started. It's not the proper way to do it, and it does stress the rubber quite a lot on the frame because it's a solid block of rubber. It doesn't have these recesses or anything, obviously, and that's not the way to fit them in. The workshop manual states such as well. So anyway, hope it's an help. I couldn't find anything, and I'll put this on, and hopefully anybody then that's buying the tool, come to fit in the screens, will have an easier job, and it won't cost them the arm and a leg this cost me. So there you go. Hope you enjoy it.